Welcome to another day of me practicing the MCAT CARS question of the day that's put out daily by Jack Westin. I decided that I was gonna do this at 5 a.m. I'm sort of like testing out the schedule and seeing whether I can wake up and start at 5 a.m. So I did wake up at 5 a.m., but I'm here at this time. So I'm probably gonna change the time to probably 5:30 because it seems like I can't really get to bed. And then I just made myself some hot water with lemon and a few dates, stuffed a few dates with almonds, and I'm just going to have that, not really have breakfast because I was pretty hungry. So I think 5:30 is probably a good time, and I know nobody's watching right now. Maybe somebody can find this later. And if you want to make your schedule, and this is like Eastern Standard Time, if you want to make your schedule, if you're studying for your MCAT, that you do this at 5:30ish o'clock before you head out for university or college or work, whatever else you're doing for the day. You could probably follow me. I'm going to try to do this consistently every day, and because it's good to commit to it. And even if I'm not doing it here and I'm not recording it, I am doing it every day. And about my work, if anybody is going to watch my study with me videos, if anybody finds it, I'm going to be doing it a little bit more consistently, but I've sort of been gathering, like assessing it whether I can do it every day or not. And even though I study every day more than 6 hours, recording it and then posting it, it seems to be difficult, and I can't do those live because there is always some sort of disruption going on, and it'll be very discontinuous, and it won't be helpful to anybody to put out a study with me video that's kind of chopped up and disrupted. So if I'm doing it live. So um plus I've got to add in breaks, and because I'm making it Pomodoro, so it's probably like if I shoot it one day, then I'm going to be posting it the next day. So I do have some footage from the weekend of my studying that I did, and I will try to post it today, although I have a feeling that I won't be able to post it today because I really don't know what to put in for the break times. Um, I don't, it's very cold here in Canada, and I don't, I work out at the gym. I don't really go out for walks outside, and it would be really hard to get like some sort of B-roll footage of some nature. Although I do find it nice that some channels are able to do that. I see. I don't know. I don't know. I might just film like 10 minutes of a candle burning or something like that. Something with a little bit of a nice aesthetic. But it's difficult to sort of figure out what to do for those 10 minutes, and with 6 hours of study, and then there's like um 6 hours, but a 6 hour 10-minute break, so 6 10-minute breaks. But I think that I'm just gonna simplify for myself, and after gauging after gauging like getting a good assessment of how much I can do, what I can do, I think I'm just going to um, try to make it as easy as possible. for me to just post these things, and they're not going to be absolutely perfect. And maybe that's just going to be like my aesthetic. All right, so without further waiting around here, I'm just going to present my screen and let's do this question. This question also today. Today the question has a video, and I was trying to think whether I wanted, and it has 7 questions. So if you would like, you can watch the video later, but I think I'm just going to try to do the question. Let's see. Okay. All right. And it's 5:50 a.m. So I pretty much have like only half an hour to do this. So today it's going to be pretty fast. All right. A famous magazine photographer. What's the title, first of all? Rear Window. A famous magazine photographer uh, immobilized because his leg is in a cast, is sitting in his New York apartment where he will have to stay until he is able to travel again. This temporary infirmity leaves him at the charming mercy of his fiance. It's interesting. Charming mercy. Never heard a phrase like that. Who tries to convince him to abandon adventure and marry her. However, her frequent visits do not, that was a yawn. My goodness. Her frequent visits do not sufficiently distract the reporter from numerous sights he can see in the opposite apartments. It is very hot and the windows are always open. Is this a story? Seems like not real. It seems like it is a story. If peeping into the lives and characters of neighbors across the way is not a very respectable occupation, it is a fascinating one. Notably, there is a traveling salesman who nurses his shrewish wife with abject devotion. The wife disappears, and our amateur detective deduces that she has been murdered and dismembered by her husband. This situation proves for the suspense of Rear Window. Okay, it's book or movie. A Rear Window is undoubtedly Alfred Hitchcock's most technically perfect and ingenious film. Even the continuity of the takes in rope does not constitute a feat comparable to the variety of technical difficulties Hitchcock resolves here. The basic idea of the scenario is that the staging is subdivided into a series of technical problems relating to set construction, shooting, and sound. The direction only allows us to see or hear what the hero, James Stewart, perceives from his wheelchair. The real genius of the film is that Hitchcock conceived the scenario and shot the film from his hero's point of view. This is not, however, a first-person film or even a subjective one. The point of view is logical and physical. We are beside James Stewart, not in him. Okay. The ingenuity of the mystery, therefore, rests on the difficulty he has reconstructing the motives and methods of a crime through Stewart's fragmented observations to make the events believable, and simultaneously to permit the many allusions to the collective life of the building as seen through other windows. Hitchcock constructed a rather elaborate set that is both remarkably realistic and in which all the clues are cunningly thought out. For example, the street glimpse through the gap between two walls. It would have been unbearable to perceive only the unaware protagonists from the actual distance of the two facades. my goodness. It was necessary to be able to vary the framing of the shots without actually going into the neighbors' apartments or cheating on the initial postulate. Hitchcock got around this through a very ingenious technical idea. James Stewart's profession entitles him to have a pair of strong binoculars and even an enormous telephoto lens adaptable to a reflex camera. Thus, the changes in lenses, even the close-up shots, can be justified logically. Okay. The use of color is equally splendid, be it in impressive dramatic effects. For example, when in the darkened room, the murderer's presence is indicated only by the reddish glow of his cigarette and the reflection of his glasses, or even in the structure of the script. James Stewart deduces that a body was buried in the courtyard by comparing the color of a zinnia flower at the end of a row to that of the flower appearing in the same place on a color slide taken a few days earlier from his window. Furthermore, from his observation point, James Stewart can only see, not hear, therefore a whole portion of the film is silent. The dialogue must be reconstructed from gestures and postures. The film's brilliance is that it makes us reconstruct Stewart's impressions as well. The sound has now, however, been totally eliminated. Although we cannot understand specific words, they still reach us through muffled sounds and intonations. Okay. All right, so if the information in the passage is accurate, which of the following scenes would one least expect to see in Rear Window? The murderer directly confronts Stewart by going to his room. That already sounds like no, it can't happen because let me read that all. Someone Stewart is watching walks into a room without windows. Okay, police cars are seen pulling up in the front of the apartment building. That's plausible. Stewart's fiance is at a police station asking a detective for help. So everything's happening from the window. Well, the murderer directly confronts Stewart. That could happen because we were able to see his uh, sort of we're beside him so we can see his room. Okay. Someone is watching, someone Stewart is watching walks into a room without windows. That could happen too. And then he doesn't know what's happening. I think Stewart's fiance is at the police station asking a detective for help because I think we can just see what he's seeing. He doesn't really go anywhere. I'm kind of torn between this and whether the plausibility of somebody that he's watching walking into a room, but I mean, it's possible. Okay, I'm just gonna choose this and let's see what happens because we don't have much time today. That's correct. So D is correct. This is correct because D would go against the ethos of the movie as the passage author argues, since it would require showing a scene that is not from Stewart's point of view, the view afforded him from his wheelchair-bound position in his apartment. Great. Oops. Okay. Next. What is the significance of the passage argument of the information that Rear Window uses? What is the significance to the passage argument of the information that Rear Window uses color in a remarkable way? It clarifies Hitchcock's otherwise confusing technical innovations in Rear Window. It serves as an example of the innovations that advances in film technology made possible. It describes how Hitchcock would have to have his hero solve the film's mystery from his room. It suggests the priority of the visual over the oral in processing information and deduction. Um, so So we're only seeing his point of view. The ingenuity of the mystery therefore rests on the difficulty he has constructing the motives and methods of a crime through Stewart's feminine operation. No. Let's see, where did it mention? Because it did mention that. There you go. The use of color is equally splendid. So where do we go from here? So here we're talking about his perspective and how he uses binoculars, change in lenses and stuff. And then that's where after that it comes the use of color is equally splendid, be it in impressive dramatic effects. For example, when in the darkened room, murderer's presence is indicated only by a reddish glow of his cigarette. Okay. And the reflection of his glasses, or even in the structure of the script, James Stewart deduces that the body was buried in the courtyard by comparing the color of the zinnia flower at the end of a road to that of a flower appearing in the same place on a color slide taken a few days earlier from his window. So it's what he's left with. So this is not, however, a first-person film or even a subjective one. The point of view is logical and physical. We are beside. So Rear Window is another of our most technically perfect and ingenious film. Even the continuity of the takes in rope does not comparable to the technical difficulties Hitchcock resolves here. So staging into a series of technical problems like set construction, shooting, and sound. So it clarifies Hitchcock's otherwise confusing technical innovations in Rear Window. It serves as an example of innovations that advances in film technology made possible. It describes how Hitchcock could have his hero solve. No. Where does it say it's confusing? It's ingenious, it's technically perfect, not because of technological advances, because of what he's using. Okay. What is the significance to the passage argument of the information that Rear Window uses color in a remarkable way? It describes how Hitchcock could have his hero solve the film's mystery from his room. Could be it. Suggest a priority of visual over the oral in processing information and deduction. I didn't see this anywhere. I don't know. Let's just. Oh, C is correct. This is correct because it is closest to the passage's main idea and because paragraph 5 directly links the film's use of color to the mystery's resolution. Okay. According to paragraph 4, Hitchcock made a street visible between the two buildings that face James Stewart's window because where is that? Where is that? Okay. For example, the street glimpsed through the gap between two walls. It would have been unbearable to perceive only the unaware protagonist from the actual distance of the two facades. It was necessary to be able to vary the framing of the shots without actually going into the neighbors' apartments or cheating the initial postulate. Hitchcock got through this very ingenious technical idea of binoculars. Okay, so um, because why did he make it visible? Because it is one reason why the film was hard to make. It hints at the presence of a larger city. It gives James Stewart something to use his binoculars on. No, it allows street sounds to take the place of dialogue. Mm, So, to make the events believable and simultaneously to permit the many allusions to the collective life of the building as seen through the other windows, Hitchcock constructed a rather elaborate set that is both remarkably realistic and in which all the clues are cunningly thought out. For example, the street glimpse through the gap between two walls, it would have been unbearable to perceive only the unaware protagonist from the actual distance of the two facets. It was necessary to be able to vary the framing of the shots without actually going into the neighbor's apartment. Okay, so it hints at the presence of the larger city. We have a bigger perspective. I would say that B is correct. Paragraph B uses the street as an example of the set is realistic and that lays out the clues to the presence of the New York City in one way that the street could make the film feel more real, since the paragraph suggests that just having the facade, I don't know if it's facade of facade of other apartment windows facing Stewart's apartment without the alleyway would be unbearable. Okay, cool. Discussion. The passage suggests that Hitchcock made James Stewart a photographer because photographers do work that resembles the work of detectives. The film contrasts the job's travel demands with being wheelchair bound. Photographers use tools that provide and augment point of views. Photography is a profession that depends on technical proficiency. So I would say this is like a toss-up between two, right? Photographers do work that resembles the work of detectives. Photographers use tools that provide an augment points of view. Um, let's see if we can find a little something. Well, he finds adventure fascinating, it says, right? He peeping into the lives. And the wife disappears, and our amateur detective deduces that she has been murdered. So he's an amateur detective. Um, I think the fact that he has all these tools um, just happen to be there, right? Because why does he have? So Stewart's profession entitles him to have a pair of strong binoculars and even enormous telephoto lens adaptable to a reflex camera. Thus, the changes in lenses, even can be justified. So it's like a justification. It's like, not sure about this one, but we're gonna go ahead with this. Oh, that C was correct. Okay. This is correct because it's the closest to the main idea. Paragraph 4 specifically discuss Stewart's profession as providing the tools that would allow him to logically, oh yeah, because about filmmaking. So that's why him to logically provide himself and the audience with perspective necessary to solve the movie's mystery. And why is it not A? It's not A because the passage does not suggest that photographers and detectives do similar work. It doesn't. It calls them amateur detective, but the author can best be viewed as an advocate of having directors create elaborate sets, directors using unusual colors in the film, telling stories about experiences most people have, limiting how much information viewers have. Mm, I don't know. So directors can create elaborate sets. Yeah, I think so. Unusual colors in the films. Too specific, telling stories about experiences most people have. Most people are not peeping into other people's lives. So, I don't think the information was limited, even though we just have his perspective. Like he was trying to get more information than a regular person would get, you know? I would say having directors create elaborate sets. Oh, it was limiting from how much information viewers have. Okay, this is correct because it's the closest to the pass's main idea. I have to stick to the main idea. So I have difficulty doing that. Most of the innovations that the passage celebrates involves justifying and utilizing restrictions on what viewers could see or hear in the film, how the film limits audiences to what the movie's hero how he sees and hears. Why is that not A? It's not A because incorrect answer. The passage certainly celebrates the elaborate set that Hitchcock constructed, but it does not imply that an elaborate set is a good in is a good in and of itself. Instead, the passage claims that the set is important because it enabled Hitchcock to realize his vision for the film, and the passage argument suggests that it is this vision for the film that makes the motive noteworthy. Which of the following reasons are probably determinative in having the film set in the summer? The weather helps explain why the movie's murderer acted as he did. It justifies the protagonist's level of access to his neighbors' lives. Hot weather permits fewer difficulties for filming than does winter weather. The season is one in which flowers and vivid colors are commonly in bloom. I mean, he wouldn't be able to, could he? Well, he could peep out, um, even if it was not cold. So I think that other people would be outside more. Hot weather permits fewer difficulties for filming. I don't think that's close to the main idea. So the main idea of the movie, um, I didn't read that. I don't read what the main idea was. The weather helps explain the movie's murder acted as he did. That's too vague. The season is one in which flowers with vivid colors are commonly in bloom. Sure. But for some reason, I'm kind of thinking it justifies the protagonist's level of access to his neighbors' lives. Are they out and about more? Um, and that's why can he hear them? Um, However, her frequent visits do not sufficiently distract the reporter from the numerous sights he can see in the opposite. It is very hot and the windows are always open. If peeping into the lives, okay, so access, probably. Okay, that was correct. Okay, so this is correct. B is the closest to the main idea since setting the movie during the summer helps explain how the movie's hero and the audience can see so much of what's going on in the apartment complex. This is further supported in paragraph 1, which states that summertime is hot, which requires windows to be left open. One can assume through which people's lives can be seen and possibly heard. And then B is not correct. Oh, sorry, B is correct. Why is D not correct? Okay, the passage mentioned flowers in the movie in paragraph 5, but the passage does not link those flowers with the season depicted in the movie. Okay, it doesn't link it. All right. Main idea, so this is what we were missing. The passage main idea is rear window is good because it is seen from Stewart's point of view. Okay. And last question. Passage information indicates that which of the following statements must be true? The movie would have been successful if it was not set in New York City. The style of filmmaking, the passage information indicates that which of the following statements must be true? Okay. Um, the movie would not have been successful if not set in New York City. The style of filmmaking used in Rear Window works best on movies with murder mystery plots. Sure. Rear Window is the film that earned Hitchcock his reputation as an innovative filmmaker. Moviegoers enjoy feeling like they are situated in the world of the movie they're watching. But the world of the movie could also be there if it wasn't just his perspective. So, right? Um, as the style of filmmaking used in Rear Window works best on movies with murder mystery plots. Mm, I mean, he was innovative, but I don't know if that earned him a reputation as an innovative filmmaker. It doesn't really say that, does it? Okay, no, it doesn't. Um, I don't know. It could. Let's see. Oh, it was D. This is correct because it is best remembers the main idea of the passage. The passage would not make sense if viewers did not find value in the way the film presents its action and how it situates the viewer. Okay. Moviegoers enjoy feeling like they are. I was kind of having doubts about that one. So why is it not B? So many of the aspects of the film described in the passage seem well situated to the film's murder mystery, but the passage does not speculate enough with regard to how this version of filmmaking would work in other genres for this to be correct. Okay. All right. Well, that's that for solving. Um, Let me see what happens when I watch. Oh, this is paid. Oh, passage analysis workshop is for students enrolled in the CARS strategy course. Nice. So I guess I can't take advantage of that. But So those are that's the question for today, and that's I think where I'm going to leave it. And hopefully, for sure, I will be here tomorrow to do another question. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.